Hello. I've been given the opportunity to make one wish from the Genie of the learning lamp, and it's one wish for the future of education. But I've got a bit of an issue because for the last 114 days I've not been in the education system, and neither have my children. And in fact, what I've seen over the last 114 days here in Edinburgh, in Scotland, through wet days of late winter, through into bright mornings of spring, and into this glorious, wet, rainy summer that we're heading into, has very little to do with education in the way that I knew it 4 months ago, and everything to do with learning. Maybe, just maybe, I've got the wrong lamp. Maybe I need the Genie from the learning lamp to make a difference to learning. And if we're going to make a difference to education, maybe it's not about the system, maybe it's not about the tests and the exams, maybe actually it's about finding the silver linings as we transition from what we've been in to something new. For 114 days, I've been sat at this desk, and for someone who travels for a living, one ozone busting plane at a time, that's not been easy necessarily, but it's become easy. New habits have formed. And I get 1 hour a day where I can go anywhere I want in the city within 5 miles. I can go as far as my legs can carry me, as far as that hour gives me. So if I go fast, I can go far. And I've discovered lots of new places. I've discovered the old port of Leith again. I used to live right on it, and I've discovered new ships and new roads and new bridges. And I've discovered the labyrinth of psychopaths formed out of the old railway tracks that used to crisscross the north of Edinburgh. For years, the Leith, Edinburgh, Newhaven, Granton railway network connected the city centre with the industry in the harbours and the ports in the north of the city. Now the tracks have long gone, but life still pulses through them. And in fact, what started as a bit of kind of local knowledge for that kind of hardcore lycra-clad cyclist has now become quite common knowledge, a public necessity even, as people pulse through those veins of the city every day, all day. And given the different ages of those walking through, young and very old, I think that that's something that we will sustain for generations to come. So from this crisis, a new lifeblood coming through the city. Now, tiny habits have been formed. I've never seen more people cycle or run. They've crystallised, they've become normal for people, and they've become loved. You try removing those cycle tracks now, you'll have a riot on your cycle greased hands. Now, when people pick up a new joyful habit, they'll fight to keep it. It's an emotional thing for all the right reasons. And my family have been having that experience of picking up new habits too. We've been learning at home, working at home, in the rooms around me. We've been thriving. This one has been digging deep into maths problems that in class there might not have been enough time to dwell on. And instead of just getting stuck and frustrated, she's been able to dive deep and feel success as she works it out. This one's been able to investigate much deeper and richer than an hour-long period in school ever would allow, with the flow that you never get at homework when you're pulling a second shift and you're tired. She's able to organise her own time, do what she wants, when she wants, and she's done better, thanks to the fact that she knows how to think for herself, because she's been taught and because she's got a supportive environment around her. It's been fabulous to see both my daughters thrive at home and to see the children of other colleagues do much the same. Undertaking an art project or a presentation becomes so much more important because here there is no teacher helping. Here the teachers are quite unhelpful maybe, and so for that reason it really belongs to the children. It's emotional for them when they finish their product of learning because it's entirely theirs. I've seen 114 days of proper learning, intensely, firsthand, and not much of the way in education, not in the way I understood it 4 months ago. There have been no exams or tests. There's been more feedback from teachers and peers and mums and dads than I've ever seen in a normal education system. There's been no pressure to put your hand up and perform in class or to hide when you don't know the answer. There's been no bell, no timetable, no get out and move on because it's time. There's been no sitting through endless hours of peers' presentations because You can choose which friends you listen to. And I know that's not the experience of every kid, and I'd be a fool to pretend that the revolution is in the experience of a minority. So let's make the revolution for the experience of the majority. A lot of kids are running on intellectual fumes at the moment. Not just poor kids, there are some well-off kids too whose parents haven't been able to create the kind of environment. There's a lot of have-nots. There's no private space maybe in a city apartment to get peace and quiet. Maybe there's just no peace and quiet in the home between conference calls of mum and dad, the television, the little brother and sister. There are parents who frankly don't care. And there are parents who care so much but have to work so much too and can't offer the support and help that they would like to. There's no laptop that they can use because it's being used for work or it's being used for an older sibling's learning. There's no reliable on-demand internet, or the internet just grinds to a halt when 2 or 3 people get started using it. A lot of kids with mobile internet only have a screen that's 6 inches wide. How are you meant to create, write, research and read as richly as you could when that's the real estate you're working with? There are no books on the shelves in many homes, real or virtual, and there's no dinner table conversation about what happened that day. One of the highlights has been the music lessons every week. Taking my office and my laptop over and the good speakers to play and practice and learn new things and play them beautifully outside for neighbours every Thursday night as we applaud our health workers and essential workers. I'm not worried about the kids who don't have those kinds of opportunities results. I'm worried about their joy of learning, a joy which for many has been missing. So if you want to have one wish for learning, if I'm allowed one wish for learning, it would be this. Every child will have the entitlement to make music. The entitlement to peace and quiet, to space and technology, to learn what they need to, in the time it takes them, in the way they want to, with access to great mentors, teachers and peers who talk about the stuff that matters, who teach each other new tricks every day. That's my wish. What's yours?